Title: The Threshold Whine. The dust danced in frenzied spirals within the house. A macabre, silent dance, fueled by a wind that did not originate outside. It was an inner wind, born from the cracks in the walls, from the forgotten corners, from the very worm-eaten wood that formed the foundations of the old Blackwood mansion. I had inherited the house from a great uncle I barely remembered, a taciturn and solitary man who had died in strange circumstances, according to the rumors. Upon reading the will, an unhealthy curiosity had dragged me to this place, an imposing and decadent edifice in the middle of nowhere. From the moment I crossed the threshold, I felt a pressure in my chest, a sensation of being watched. The shadows lengthened and twisted in unnatural ways, and a sepulchral silence weighed on every room. The windows, fogged by time and dirt, seemed like blind eyes looking inward. I spent the first night trying to ignore the creaking of the floorboards and the constant whisper that seemed to come from the walls. I convinced myself it was just the old house settling, the ghosts of the past playing tricks. But then I heard it. A voice. Low, guttural, that seemed to emanate from the depths of my own mind. "Do you feel the wind?" I jumped up, my heart pounding in my chest. The room was dark, illuminated only by the faint moonlight filtering through a slit in the curtains. There was no one else there. "Who's there?" I shouted, my voice trembling. Silence was my only answer. But the whisper persisted, the inner wind swirling around me, as if trying to envelop me in its icy embrace. I decided to inspect the house. I walked through the labyrinthine hallways, each step echoing in the deathly silence. In the library, I found an ancient book bound in leather, with a title that had been erased by time. Upon opening it, the pages crackled like dry bones. The text was written in a language I did not recognize, but the illustrations froze my blood. Grotesque figures, deformed beings with empty eyes and mouths full of sharp teeth. I slammed the book shut, feeling a sudden nausea. I dropped it on the table and recoiled, as if burned. Then I saw it. An object moved. A small porcelain vase on a shelf slowly slid toward the edge, and then, with a dull thud, fell to the floor, shattering into pieces. Panic overwhelmed me. I was not alone in the house. Something else was there, something I could not see, something that did not belong to this world. I ran to my room, locking the door behind me. I curled up in bed, trembling uncontrollably. The inner wind intensified, swirling around the room, raising dust and papers in a frenzied dance. The voice returned, louder this time, closer. "Do you feel the wind?" I looked around, searching for the source of the sound. Then I saw it. The window. The attic window. I had always kept it closed, but now it was ajar, letting in a draft of icy air that seemed to suck all the life out of the room. The wind that blew through the opening was not a normal wind. It was a wind dense, viscous, laden with a nauseating stench that turned my stomach. I approached the window cautiously, like a wounded animal approaching the trap. I looked out. I did not see the night sky, nor the stars, nor the moon. I saw something else. I saw a black void, a bottomless abyss filled with twisted shapes and dancing shadows. I saw eyes that gleamed with a malevolent light, grotesque faces that deformed into mocking grimaces. I saw tentacles that reached out to me, trying to grab me, to drag me into the darkness. The window was not a window. It was a portal. A portal to another world, a world of horror and madness. The voice resonated in my head, now clear and defined, coming directly from the other side. "It's coming for you." I felt an invisible force pushing me towards the window. I tried to resist, but it was useless. My body moved against my will, drawn to the abyss like a moth to a flame. I reached out to close the window, but it was too late. Something grabbed it from the other side, something with long, bony fingers that tightened around my wrist with an implacable force. I screamed. I screamed with all my might, but my voice was lost in the threshold wind, in the constant whisper of the horrors that lurked on the other side. I was dragged through the portal. I saw my room receding, the Blackwood house fading into the distance. I felt a sharp pain as I was torn, stretched, transformed into something unrecognizable. And then, the darkness. An absolute silence. But not a silence of peace. A silence pregnant with terror, a silence that heralded the arrival of something even worse. Now I was one of them. A creature of the threshold wind, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the next victim who dared to cross the threshold. And when I found them, I would whisper in their ear, "Do you feel the wind? It's coming for you."